Hey, what's up? Ken from Palm Beach Dyno here. I've been doing a lot of thinking about my GT500 and I think I really messed up. You know, as things progress with this car, it gets more and more extreme and I've been having second thoughts as to where I go with this car. And then we recently went to MITM up in St. Louis and something bad happened. So let's go ahead and watch that real quick. All right, I broke an axle. You might say, no big deal. There's been 2 or 3 other axles broken on a GT500, but I'm breaking an axle as it sits right now. I've got a 3.8 liter Whipple going on this car. I have a built engine being made for this car. At this point, this is where most projects tend to go off the rails, and I purposefully didn't do that with this car. In fact, let's go back to the beginning of this car and show you how it all started. Hey, what's up? Ken from Palm Beach Dyno here. It's here. All right, so here we are a year and a half later, and I've generally kept this thing very sane, but my nature is to go as crazy as I can with this stuff. The problem with that is that's fun for me, and yeah, maybe I could build the world's fastest GT500. It's gonna be crazy, Whipple, built motor, maybe twin turbo someday, but that doesn't help out you guys. Most of my customers aren't gonna do that. They'll be the 1% that goes built motor and wants to make 2,000 horsepower, but 99% of you guys want to build something like this or even a little less extreme than this one even. So I was really stuck as to what to do. So what was our solution? This right here. We bought a 2021 GT500 so we could continue to develop products for you guys on a more sane level, guys that want to still go road racing, guys that do want to go to the drag strip but don't want to get crazy like this car. And even more importantly, most of the videos that you guys have seen on our channel, I hear all the time how much people appreciate them, how they use them for reference, and thank you for sharing. But one concern I have there is that is dated information. You know, in a year and a half, I've learned quite a bit. And the problem with working with a car like the 2020 is as it gets this extreme and I want to go back and try something with a stock blower, I'm not going to put a stock blower on this thing again. Obviously, I like the horsepower. So with this car, we are going to just slowly, very, very slowly step through the process. This car is actually owned by my wife, Brandy, and believe it or not, we've been married 26 years just a couple days ago, and she's never been down the drag strip. She's never owned a Mustang. She's never really done anything performance-wise. Now, she's a crazy driver and gets way more tickets than I do, but she's never been into the performance side of things. So I think I've convinced her to also pilot this thing at the track, definitely at the road course, hopefully at the drag strip. Anyway, enough talking. Let's take this thing for a ride. I want to go over a few things that I noticed on this car that I feel might be different than the 2020, mostly transmission tuning, a couple things on the drivability, and then we'll talk about what we're going to do with the car. You know, it's pretty interesting driving this thing after first driving stock GT500s almost 2 years ago now, and then modifying them. And then from that point on, I don't really ever drive them stock. So I had some expectations getting this car, and it really drove a little differently than what I remembered. So I think that's a kind of interesting way to look at this. So compared to the modified vehicles, you know, a lot of people, when we tune the vehicles, they may mention the tranny shifting and all that. We don't have a lot of control over that. But obviously, as you modify the vehicle, it's going to shift a little harder. Well, in this case, this is shifting way harder than I remember. It's clunky. Now, it only has 340 miles on it, and it does have some learning. But I guess what I'm getting at is it doesn't drive nearly as smooth as I remember. And our 1,000 horsepower packages, to me, drive just as good. In fact, drive a lot better. And this is something we're going to try on this vehicle. And we'll go over everything we're going to do to this vehicle in just a couple minutes. But I want to put one of our throttle bodies on this bone stock without changing anything. I really think it's going to make the car drive a lot better. And that's what we get out of our package, out of the larger throttle body, that sometimes you don't realize. People ask how much power does it make? But to me, the car just drives better with our throttle body on it. So we're going to try that. But let's talk about the whole game plan for this. We're going to do this a lot slower than we did the blue car. Obviously, we wanted to progress through all the different parts. We know basically what's going to be made at each power level. So instead, we're going to optimize the tunes, especially at the track, right? Got a lot more guys drag racing these than I had expected early on. So there's all sorts of things that we do on the 1,000 horsepower cars to play with how the clutch acts off the line. We haven't done a ton of that on stock or lightly modified vehicles. We're going to do that with this. And then we're also going to develop our pump gas package, which we already have. We just haven't really talked about it. That would be the CX900R. That's going to make 900 rear-wheel horsepower on 93 octane. Something that we don't talk about in the Coyote world, because most of the Coyotes are high compression and you can only go so far on 93. With this being a low compression motor, at least compared to what we're used to in the Coyote world, that allows pump gas to go really, really far. So, of course, with my blue car, I still went to 85 because I want to make the max power. But there's a lot of people that don't want to mess with fuel systems or mess with finding E85 or dealing with it at all. And, you know, 900 rear-wheel horsepower on 93 octane, I mean, realistically, do you really need more than that for most people? So we're going to have that package. That's going to be on this car. We're going to test our billet lid on this car with a stock supercharger. We haven't done that yet. So there's a lot of little things to revisit now that we have a year and a half of knowledge gain. So I'm sure down the road, this car is going to get more extreme than I want it to, but I'm going to try and keep it as basic as we can. And like I said, this car is my wife's, Brandy, and she has no experience road racing, no experience drag racing, like zero, never been down the track. So I'm going to convince her to also be the driver so we can go over how to stage the car, how to do a burnout, how to do line lock. She knows none of that, so we're going to video showing her how to do it, and, you know, see how that goes. I'm not sure. So anyway, I'm going to turn around here. We'll make a couple quick hits. Francis has never stopped real hard in one of these cars yet, I don't think. So we're going to see if he can hold on to that camera.
Oh, shit. Holy shit!
Holy shit!
What the f?
You thought I was going to kill you.
Yeah, I was like, where are we stopping?
We'll just... You want to launch it? Let's launch it. See what happens. Woo! Woo!
Jeez.
That's more fun than the acceleration
Yeah.
part. All right, thanks for watching the video, guys. First up for this vehicle is a baseline at the track, which we already did, and we'll show you that right after we dyno it and bring it back to the track and maximize this car on just a tune. Tune only. Stock tire, stock everything. So make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that. Like the video, share it with your friends, and we'll see you on the next one.